Broads Media.
Oh, what do you know? The Phillies are 500 again. Anybody surprised? 7-7 on the season as they drop game 2 by a score of 5-2, and that game sucked. I apologize for this episode getting out a little later with a 4 o'clock start on Saturday. I just got home from actually hosting Final Out over at WIP. Then I needed to eat a salad, and then while I was eating that said salad, I figured why wouldn't I put on Cody Rhodes opening up SmackDown and see what his promo was like. So, I got a little sidetracked, if you will, but we're here now, and I have to recap a sloppy-ass baseball game. Christopher Sanchez, who I'm actually going to give more love to than hate, but he did have a couple errors there that annoyed the hell out of me. Trey Turner slipping, it was in fact an accident, all right? It wasn't like a standard fundamental error that we're used to seeing out of Trey, but because he has not lived up to the expectations defensively, when it happens to be him that goes through a little bit of an unfortunate spot, it pisses me off. Now, whether that's fair or unfair, that's up for debate. But in the moment, when it's Trey slipping, you go, God, jeez, what can this guy do? When will this guy do something right? I mean, that's just what it is. So I had to deal with that. Witt out in left field. He was a joke, and he's a joke at the plate currently, too. How about Marte and JT Realmuto getting crossed up? This poor guy, JT's taken 5,000 shots over the last 3-4 games. I think it's time to get Garrett Stubbs in there just so you can give him a breather. I'll live with some bottom of the lineup at-bats and take JT out, unfortunately, because the man's getting his forearm just blasted away with a pitch that I guess he thought was off speed. A fastball drills him. Dude's been getting knocked around all over the diamond. Tough as hell. Tough as nails, and we know that. But, man, we got to make it through. By the way, you faced BAILEY FALTER. This dude comes back to town and in a very efficient 71 pitches, goes 5 innings, 1 earned run, walked 0 batters. You let BAILEY FALTer honestly smack you around. This offense is a joke. This offense is pissing me off. Nick Castellanos still a nothing burger. He's a nothing burger. Now, Rob Thompson was asked about it during his post-game presser, and he goes, he's doing fine mentally, but, he's sort of going through it, and he wants to try and work himself out of this, and, okay, but when's enough? Now, Bryce thinks 14 games isn't enough because Jeff Kerr said, are you guys pressing a bit? Are you guys holding the bats too tight, and that's why your offense maybe isn't popping? And Bryce gave him a sarcastic look. Not sarcastic look, but almost are you serious, bro? Type of look. It's 14 games into the year. Well, I mean, you're 7-7 and you're showing inconsistencies. Very fair question. If I'm the run redeeming it and rolling, if I'm the judge, here you go. Fair question. What's next? Unbelievable. But there was more. I didn't even finish the sloppy baseball list yet that I made. Marte with some pitch clock violations, walking guys. In what world? I opened up my notebook here to do this show, and I have some of the ad reads and whatnot that I had to read, and I wrote down my player of the game that I had to give and my play of the game and whatnot, so why not throw them on here as well? The reason it reminded me is because I gave BAILEY FALTer player of the game. I mean, this dude comes into a hostile environment. We kind of would said, all right, enough of you. We don't want you anymore. All right, you think that there would be some piss and vinegar. My man could have probably went 6. My man could have probably went 7. He was only at 71 pitches, 5 innings of work, 4 hits total. No walks, 1 earned run. Seriously. Dude bought out. It was Christopher Sanchez versus Falter. Falter gets the nod. The injury report, I mentioned the JT thing. The biggest takeaway of the game. All right, let's get to Christopher Sanchez. My biggest takeaway was Christopher Sanchez, and I know I ripped him for the errors, but in reality, to make it 6 innings when he pitched as all over the place as he did, walking guys. He had 3 walk batters, 6 innings pitched, only 1 earned run, and 6 strikeouts in 91 pitches. The way I phrase it is this. When you are on your A game, it's easy to be great. When you're having your C minus, C plus game, what do you look like? Do you get shelled? Is the other team throwing 6, 7 runs up on the board where your offense doesn't have a fighter's chance? And if you do, you're asking them to just pull something out of their ass and put up a double-digit spot, which is not fair to do. So how do you perform when you're really internally battling yourself? The adversity hits. To go 6? To go 6? You walk a batter in. I mean, things could have really spiraled out of control. He could have lost the game, especially coming off of a previous start that wasn't very good either. That was worse than this one because he couldn't get the distance out of it. But I go with my biggest takeaway of the game being Sanchez and his ability to battle. The play of the game, I went with Chapman striking out Brandon Marsh with bases loaded in the 8th. It's a shame that happened to Marshy because we watched him get a double that came around to score, which was one of your runs in the game where you thought maybe you could fight back a bit. And then he also drove it to the opposite field warning track, just shy of another home run with that opposite field power. So Marshy is the last concern right now when looking at the batting average of some of your guys that you need more from. And it's pretty much everybody except Brandon Marsh. Everyone except Brandon Marsh needs to step it the hell up. That's Bohm, that's Stott. I mean, it's every single person except for Marshy. So for him to be in that moment, it sucks. And it was probably one of his uglier at-bats if we're going to be transparent about it. He falls down 0-2, and it just wasn't competitive. And Brandon Marsh has been exactly the opposite of that at-bat for a majority of this season. So it sucks. But that was it, man. You had a chance there with Chapman on the bump. And the inning could have survived maybe differently if Bryce Harper didn't get robbed. And yeah, I thought Bryce squared up the ball pretty damn nicely. He almost had a home run hammered to deep center field. He had the double, he had the single that was smoked, and then he was robbed. He probably could have had 4 hits today. And I don't normally rest my morals on the idea of, well, you just got unlucky because, well, this is baseball. If you smoke it, but you smoke it to left field where the left fielder stands, I know it sucks because you tattoo it, but it's an out. And I base the result, but sometimes I'm willing to give some wiggle room, all right? I'm not an absolute asshole. And I get that Bryce Harper should have probably had 4 hits, including a homer, a double, and 2 singles. And one would have been a key piece in that 8th inning. It sucks. It just sucks. I thought it was there. Now, I want to get to the uniforms. I thought they looked great. Okay, now I was indifferent. If you don't remember, my first initial reaction to those jerseys was, I'm indifferent. I don't think it was as bad as people who said it sucked was, and I don't think it was as beautiful as everybody said. I thought it looked clean. It looked solid. It matched, right? It wasn't a red hat, a green jersey with yellow letters and purple sock. Like, it makes sense, and if it's on, it probably looks good. We like the hats. We like the helmets. So, there's something to it. The only thing I brought up was if you have to explain what it means, then you probably went a little too far with the descriptive stuff. If you tell a joke and you have to describe the joke loses power. I think it looked clean, but the whole idea of this means that means this means that, you need a detailed video to explain it, but then it probably didn't catch it at the first look or the first glance. But it's still a beautiful jersey. I like the yellow. Thought it looked good. So that's my 2 cents on the jerseys when breaking it all down. A little rougher night for the pen with Marte and Pinto, but your offense is the bigger problem. How about this, though? I want to throw this out there for 1 second. And there are a great amount of anytime hotline calls, so I'll do my best to get you guys involved as well. So you know where I stand on Rojas if you're a consistent listener, and I love you guys to death. Thank you all. By the way, there is a way to continue getting more Broads Media content. If you join the YouTube membership here for $4.99 a month, you will have access to Coffee with Broads every Monday and Thursday. We live stream at 11 a.m. and drink our coffee together right here on YouTube. And also you get access to the Discord channel, which the link is down below in the description. All the info you're looking for there is in the description. And by the way, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, all your podcasting platforms. Type in Broads Media, leave a 5-star rating and a review. I love you guys to death. Thank you all so much for the crazy support. So I'm not the biggest Rojas guy in the world. I do think they're throwing him in here prematurely. He's just not ready yet, but he's got a very intriguing skill set. And we've been hearing them sort of put him on this highest level and say, this guy's great, elite defense, this and that. And we haven't seen it until St. Louis. When St. Louis happened and game one went down, diving, grab in center field, and I only think maybe one or two guys in the league make that play. I don't even know if there's any other center fielder who make that play in St. Louis. Just a great grab. He had an RBI in there. He was running around the bases. Good stuff from Rojas. That was the type of style that Dave Dombrowski really loves. He got a hit there even at the back end of the series. So I just thought today with the left-handed pitcher, if you are going to put Rojas in games, you want to put him in successful spots. I think he's feeling pretty good about himself after St. Louis. And then you get a game to face a BAILEY Falter, who you deemed wasn't good enough to even keep in your organization. So if there is a possibility to get Rojas some at-bats as a right-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher that you deem not good enough to be on your team, don't you think that that makes more sense than Whit Merrifield? Because if you want to keep Marsh in there against a lefty, which he did have a lefty-lefty double, which is outstanding stuff out of him, and you want to get Stott some more at-bats against lefties, yeah. I mean, somebody is going to have to sit, and I get that Whit Merrifield needs time, and if he's struggling this poorly now, you know, he's a veteran. He's been around the block for a while and probably needs to get some games to see some pitching to try and work himself out of this. But at the same time, I don't know. I just thought if I'm being 1,000 with you here, and I'm going to start nitpicking the lineup just a tad, I do think that this made sense for a Rojas start. If they're going to utilize him, why didn't they try to maximize him here? What else went down? I saw the Randy Wolf interview on the broadcast. It was pretty cool to see some of those highlights. I'm not going to lie. I was a Wolfpack man. All right, I love the Wolfpack. So seeing those highlights and hearing him talk about his family and watching him throw out the first pitch and his son, thought it was pretty cool. All right, let's run to the Anytime Hotline and take some phone calls here reacting to the 5-2 loss. You should be pissed. And I actually took a few calls during Final Out. And the first call, he was on fire. I got to give him a lot of love here and just say I appreciate the passion. But he's like, man, I hate Rob Thompson's demeanor. I can't stand this guy. This guy is, too lackadaisical of an approach, and it could play into the team, and the team obviously doesn't respect him. He said that phrase. I'm like, whoa, calm down a tad. I don't like the approach from Rob either. I think we see errors in sloppy play because Rob isn't fiery enough about those mistakes. Go get him next time. Don't worry about it. No, worry about it. Now, I have heard from people who do follow the Phillies very closely and are involved at some degree that Rob is a lot more intense behind the scenes. Maybe not John Tortorella like, all right, let's not blow this out of proportion. But if there's something that's getting him angry, and if there are constant things like we've seen in the previous season when they were poor on the bases and when they weren't getting hits timely with runners in scoring position, because it's hard to get angry with people about that. But the others that are more a lack of focus, a lack of attention to detail, that Rob did drill them behind the scenes and took a totally different approach to the media. So maybe it does happen more than we're giving him credit to. I said to pump the brakes. I think the players do respect him, but there's no doubt that I agree with your overall sentiment here that we need a more detailed approach. I'm not saying to be a kick-ass type of guy where you got to kick him in the ass, but I'm saying can we stress the details more? Because you might get away with something against the Washington Nationals, but you won't get away with them against great teams. And by the way, this Pittsburgh Pirates team now 10-4. And after you looked so good in game one, it would have been lovely to follow that up with another one against Bailey Falter. In case you forgot, Bailey Falter. Come on. I think Rob needs to get these guys going somehow. So I don't know what it takes. He's probably just going to say, wait. What did he say to Howard Eskin the other day? He said, not plug. Why did I say plug? Slug, plug. What the hell is wrong with me? I don't know. Let's go to the phones. Malcolm in Georgia's up first here. Let's take your calls.
Hey, Broads. This is Malcolm in Georgia. This is why, Broads. This is why. Leave it up to the Phillies to make Bailey freaking Falter, the number 4 starter, look like a Cy Young pitcher.
Unbelievable, Malcolm.
This is why at the beginning of the year, I had purpose that I wasn't going to watch the Phillies. I was going to wait around to September, see if they make the playoffs, because that's really what all that matters, and then take it from there. Because I'm tired of seeing these guys go up and down, up and down. 2 games over 500, 2 games under 500.
Well, let me stop you right there for just a moment, because while I agree with you, it's annoying. And why can't I just get good, consistent baseball? Is that too much to ask? Be a solid, sound team that's magnificent for a long time instead of being bad for a while and then going on a nice run. Why can't I just get good, consistent ball, dude? But there is also a journey. And to a degree, while you said that you might want to skip ahead till September because you don't want to experience said journey, that's what the summer of baseball is all about. I openly, and there's so many different ways to do it. I'm not telling you there's only one way to consume sports, and my way's the right way. People would say I'm ludicrous because I'm blowing a gasket. My blood pressure's going high for no reason. You're allowing yourself to do this, and I'm with you, but that's how I want to enjoy my years here on Earth, with my life. I think that there is a ride to take. So what we're going through now in this ride that you might want to skip forward to is the pain, okay? Because when you get hit with the pain, that's what makes the good stuff feel even better. It's just what it is. So that's how I do. I'm okay with it, Malcolm. I'm okay with it, but I'll let you continue.
Turner and Castellanos, oh my. Is it time to give them the old Philly standing ovation?
We can't be doing that every year, Malcolm, and I know you're being facetious with it, but I am not in any way, shape, or form getting sucked into any of that. You get one shot with it, all right? That's rare. It's a cool moment. You see all these other teams try and do it. I think I saw Steve Cohen of the Mets try and inspire Citi Field in Queens to get behind Francisco Lindor because there's some beef between him and the fan base and whatever. I don't care about them at all, even though I saw the other day they were beating up on Atlanta. I don't care about the Mets. I don't. As bad as the Phillies are, the Mets make me throw up 6 times as much as anything Phillies related. With the Trey and Nick stuff, I don't know. I've sort of given up. I've given up. I believe they are good players. I believe they are better than what they're showing. I don't know if they're ever going to be good players here. I'm rooting for it just like anybody else. But that's how I feel. I don't think that they're comfortable. And Nick, maybe this is more Nick than not Nick. I mean, this does really define Nick Castellanos. I don't think that this is an outlier. Some of Trey's stuff I think is an outlier. There's no way he's this putrid defensively. Not this putrid defensively. And I think he could provide more consistency hitting-wise, too. I think he's got more. The Knicks stuff, he just hit the market at the right time coming off of an outlier season. He had the outlier Cincinnati season, hitting 300-plus with 34 bombs. That's not normal for him. So that's more of an issue on us just willingly paying him a lot of cash coming off of a hot season, hoping that that was going to be more the norm and not the outlier. But now we have a bigger sample size. And no, it's pretty much written in stone that whatever he did in Cincinnati right before the checkbook opened, God bless his soul. Let's go to Sean.
Yeah, that was pretty ugly to say the least. You know, I came into this game thinking that this was a night where the Phillies offense should and, you know, be able to get going. I mean, against BAILEY FALTER. I mean, you're getting held in check by a guy who's barely throwing 90 miles an hour.
Gross.
Just an embarrassing performance all around. But to me, again, especially with the offense, 2 runs in that park. I mean, I know they hit into some tough luck late, but for the most part, early and throughout the year, they've just done absolutely nothing. I mean, Whit Merrifield, automatic out. Castellanos, automatic out. We can go up and down this lineup. Just terrible. I keep telling myself that, there's going to be a day when they come out and they get 8-9 runs and get on an offensive explosion. The more this season progresses, the more I'm starting to have my doubts.
Uh-oh, Sean. So I agree with your last part that, you keep waiting for it to happen. I guess maybe where we disagree is my doubts aren't there yet. As much as I'm aggravated in saying that this is unacceptable, and I stand by that, there is truth to Bryce saying it's only 14 games. They are too talented for their offense to be this quiet forever. There will be a time. They did do it the last 2 years. So I hate that they make us play this game, but I know they're going to make us play this game. It seems like maybe you wonder if one year it's dry and you keep going back to that same well, and unfortunately you utilized all that water the last 2 seasons. There's none left. And I guess there's truth to that. I guess that is fair. I'm not ruling that out. I'm not. Here I am, starting to get swayed already. All right, Sean, you did your job. Let's take a look at the box score. JT 0 for 3, Bohm 0 for 3, but he did get the walk to walk in a run in the 8th inning. That was their moment for sure. Brandon Marsh had a run. Schwartz was 1 for 3. He ended up walking in the 8th to kind of help out that as well. Stoddy with the infield single. Yeah, Whit Merrifield 0 for 4, hitting 120 on the season, 2 flyouts and 2 grounders. So not good. I do miss Andrew McCutchen, though, for whatever that's worth. I do miss Andrew McCutchen. Wasn't he involved with a little chin music? I think he was at one point. I think he was. So, yeah, okay. Thought I had more on Andrew McCutchen. I don't. What's next?
This is what I'm telling you about with these guys. I mean, I can't take the Phillies anymore, bro. I'm not going to be able to do this for 162 games. I'm not going to be able to do it. I can't. You play great the first game, 5-1, whatever. Then you come out and you're just dead. Now, mind you, it's a 4-game series, so they could split or they could go 3-2, and then obviously you're a little bit more optimistic. But the Pirates, their record looks okay right now, but they're fool's gold. There is no substance to them. Their best player is probably Kutch. I can't continue to take this approach where I'm supposed to. This is a 500 ball club, and I mean it. And to me, that sucks if that's the case. And 82 wins is not enough.
Well, I don't think they're going to win 82. I do think they're going to win more than that. They're probably going to win 90. It is funny because I do lead the charge of early season reaction. I do. I think it's fantastic. I'm okay with pitchforks and saying that this isn't good enough. But it does seem like there are people that go more extreme than me, which I'm not surprised. But it's funny when I hear something like that, now I feel like I'm the one trying to preach logic and say, don't react. And that's not what I'm saying, but there's a big difference between 80 wins, 81, 500 baseball. The 500 baseball now, they've been playing 500 baseball to this point, and I can't accept that. But the full projection that they're 80-win team, 81-win team after the last few years, I think is going too extreme. So trust me, I'm all in on the pitchfork. I'm all in on the screaming. I guess there's just a big separator between the style of baseball now that's happening is sickening and we need to improve, and then we will be this way forever. I just don't think we'll be this team forever, but in the moment, I can't accept it. I hope that's making sense. I hope that's making sense. But yeah, I mean, it's annoying. It's annoying because we all know that they have so much talent on this roster. So when you underachieve, we just ask you to be the best version of you. We have flaws. We all have flaws. Be the best version of you. I don't know what else to say. All right, everybody, those are my thoughts. We'll see what happens over the weekend. By the way, you mentioned a split, or I think you said 3-2, but you mean 3-1. 2-2 would not be okay. No. 3-1, 4-0. That's the only thing I'm okay. A split would be terrible. On your home field after a nice road trip, going 4-2 and they're sick. No. 2-2's bad. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.